What is going on, guys, and welcome back to another video. Today we are in beautiful Ojai, California because I'm meeting up with one of my oldest off-road buddies, and we are going to be walking around three different vehicles. He has three different off-road vehicles in three separate videos. In today's video, we're going to be looking at your guys' favorite, a second-gen Tacoma. Now, the thing that, and I don't mean to offend him by saying this, but the thing that I think you guys are going to appreciate most about this video is he is definitely going to showcase that you don't need to be spending an insane amount of money to get a great performing vehicle, because he has a budget build that we're going to go over today. So guys, stick around for this video. Make sure you stay tuned for the other two, and let's go ahead and meet the guy himself.
Hey guys, how you doing? My name is Isaiah Scott. Most people know me by Baja Zay. We're out here in sunny Ojai, California. We're going to be going over three of my different builds. Let's start out with my fabulous 05 Toyota Tacoma. It has 325k miles on it. I've had it since I was about 18. I'm about 27 now. I've got the 4.0 V6 in it. We'll start from the front back on this build, and then I'll kind of go over the history of the build and stuff like that. Or we can do it backwards. Okay, let's go over history right now.
Yeah, I say talk about why it is the way it is, then we'll get into it.
Okay. All right, so when I first got this truck, it was the first truck that I actually bought on my own. I didn't really have the money during the time when I first joined the Navy to invest in this truck. So everything you see on here has been budgeted. It's been through different hands. At one time I gave it to my wife. At one time it came back to me. At one time it was mid-travel. At one time it was bone stock. As you see it now, is how it's been for the last, I think, about a year to 2 years. When I first got it back in 2015, it had just had bill seams in the front, and it had icon reservoirs in the rear, stock control arms. After that, I met up with a group called Locoyotas. We started getting into the whole off-road realm. I really just wanted a truck just to carry around my dirt bike during the time, but you know, as things go, snowball, you get exposed to other things, and social media and all that stuff gets you connected with people, and I found about this amazing community. So started going to meets with Locoyotas. I really started driving around the truck and realized, oh damn, I can't go more than like 15 miles an hour, and I'm like, this sucks, you know? From that point on, I really wanted to figure out how to go faster. What is long travel? What is mid travel? What does travel mean? What are bump stops? All that good old stuff. What is good geometry? All that stuff. So, and I'm still learning today. It's like a never-ending process of learning. You see so much inspiration off social media, and there's so many things that you can do. Makes it hard sometimes to decide what route you want to go with a vehicle, and it's very overwhelming. There's a lot of other people that say that you have to go this way, which is a more expensive way than the cheap way, when there's many of cheap ways to figure things out and still have fun with your truck. It doesn't need to have the biggest kings. It doesn't need to have the best long travel kit. There's a lot of trucks that actually do great with a short amount of travel. There's a Jeep Cherokee that I see all the time on Instagram. I forget the dude's name, but dude's got 10 inches of travel in the front, and the full just fucking hops over everything and bounces. Shortly after Locoyotas, I ended up moving from Ventura County down to San Diego because I got stationed down in San Diego. I wanted to get more in tune with the off-road realm, so I made a group called 619 Off-Road. That was in about 2017. I didn't know anybody down there. Kind of just got immersed into the world, knew nobody. I knew I had to start, you know, meeting people. So I made that group. First meet, I had about like six to eight trucks come out. It was dope. After that, I started getting the knowledge. I eventually wanted to do some stuff to the truck. I have a buddy that sold me the bumper down in San Diego. He gave me the bumper he told me like 150 bucks. And I was like, all right, sweet, 150 bucks. You can't beat that, dude. And I wanted that look, that pre-runner look, even though, you know, I still had stock control arms, stock shocks and all that. So got the bumper, threw this bumper on. I was living in Eastlake, in some gated community, and I was out there doing it at like 1 a.m. at night, making sure the security guards don't see me, bolting the bumper up. So started with a bumper, moved into, I did some McNeil 2-inch rise fenders that you can see in some of my older videos on my YouTube, just to accommodate for whatever I was going to go to next. Shortly after that, I met up with GR Fabrication, which is down in Chula Vista, which has built some more popular trucks like AJ Frontline's truck. And I asked him, hey man, can you show me how to do stuff, or can I work on this here at your shop to save money? So I found a pair of Donahoe Racing shocks, 2.5 coilovers without a resi, which are basically old school icon. So I got those shocks, had them rebuilt, threw them on the truck. I went to dirt keying, and I had my buddy Nick that works the dealership next door. He got me hooked up on some dirt keying upper control arms that were boxed. So I went to GR Fab Shop, installed those in a night. Freaking, I was so happy, dude. It was like I was on top of the world. I'm like, oh man, I was like, yeah, I got the best suspension. What's up, baby? And dude, it handled great. Like I feel like it handled better than what's on here right now. Just the simplicity, the shocks, the control arm. I feel like having mid travel in the front of these trucks, and even if you do a long travel rear, the truck will scoot. And I have a buddy named Gary that actually did that exactly. He would definitely drive his truck hard, and it handled great, even just with a simple mid travel setup. So after I did that, I was on the route to getting out. So I got out a year later in 2018, August, and I came back up to Ventura County to settle down, quote. And then I started piecing up different things. I had a buddy named Uwe who hooked me up with the control, the long travel kit. Definitely budget. I can kind of explain what I paid. This is the best part about the truck to me, is that everything's budgeted. I waited patiently over the years to piece everything together. Obviously it's not where it should be right now. It still needs bump stops, still needs limit straps, still needs reservoir clamps because I got zip ties on there right now. So yeah, everything up to this point was budgeted. So I got the kit for $600, the long travel kit for $600. It's basically a Total Chaos upper with a one-off lower utilizing a ball joint instead of a uniball.
Let's get in there and look at it, but before we get any further in this, I like how you're using the words budgeted and settled down and everything, but in the frame behind you.
What's that? No, that's budgeted too.
Huh?
That's budgeted too.
I don't know, man. That doesn't look like budgeted and settling down over there. But
well, that's when I tell you the prices on the cages and all that. I tell you, I found the best deals.
Yeah, that's gonna be one of the other build breakdowns. But we're doing Tacoma right now.
We're doing the Tacoma right now.
So back to the kits.
So like I told you guys, Total Chaos upper. Recently I just put uniballs up in here, got it realigned. Lock shocks. I played around with spring rates. Have some 650 springs on there. I wasn't happy with the ride before, so I swapped to these springs, which are a little bit lighter. Usually you want to run a heavier rate spring if you're going to be running an off-road steel bumper, anything that's going to be very heavy. This kit came with tie rod extensions. I did relocate the shock mounts on this kit. When I originally got the kit, the coilover was binding with the tie rod at full lock. Since then, I've recycled and replanted the coilover mounts where I think they should be. Wasn't too analytical about it, just kind of just simple, because this is still a daily driver. Once I get farther along with it, who knows, things might change. I do need to accommodate for a bypass down the road. I would love to still fully build this truck, just in a different way than the Nissan maybe. It's just a better platform than the Nissan, just because of all the aftermarket. Definitely the electrical on Toyotas is a lot better than Nissans. Nissans are completely garbage. You hear me say that? I got the spindles, stock spindles with the Total Chaos spindle gussets. I have the double shear on the steering right here. Of course, I have the FK rod ends on there. You know, try to spend some money. You know, we bougie. Don't worry about these zip ties. Zip ties hold up the reservoirs, but don't worry about that.
Everything you're saying today is just a contradiction of it. You're like, we're bougie out here, but yeah, I got these zip ties.
So yeah, I'm running 1-inch wheel spacers on here, so that I can run these Robbie Gordons. When I originally was trying to fit the Robbie Gordons on here, I was rubbing against the caliper because the offset doesn't allow me to run these at stock width. So we're sitting at about, with the kit, 3.5 inches plus a spacer. We're looking at about 4.5. So I like the stance of the truck. It's definitely light, nice. And then of course on 37s, 37, 12, 50, 17s, Toyo mud terrains. Yes, I still rub. I haven't clearanced yet. Like I said, this truck is like, okay, I'll get to it because I got so many other things that come in front of it. Dude, I haven't even done any maintenance besides oil changes to this thing. The belt's falling apart. It's just, you know, it's just one of those vehicles that I've had that's never quit on me, but it's very near and dear because it's got me to places and I've always been able to rely on it. If you blow up a Toyota motor, there's something going on with you. They love redlining too. And I've done tons of donuts in this thing. This thing loves it.
I got 2 questions before we scoot on, but did you give the specs for the coilovers, like the dimensions?
Oh yeah, the coilovers are 2.5 by 8s.
Okay. And then
They have the adjusters on them too.
The upper was total chaos. The spindle gusset was total chaos. Was the lower total chaos, or is that different?
The lower control arm is one off. So basically, somebody made it in their garage. Total chaos is new. So basically, Total Chaos's original lower, I guess, had some type of geometry issues, so they made a one-off lower for this. This is the same kit that you would see on JD Britton's old 4Runner. Same exact kit. The guy, the guy's name is Fabian, and he pretty much pieced this kit together. So it utilizes a ball joint instead of a uniball, which the new Total Chaos kit has a uniball. I mean, of course, you know, you're gonna get better articulation with the uniball. The ball joint is a sealed component at the end of the day, so that is nice. So I can't say the difference. I have uniball on that truck on the lower, but you know, we're dealing with more travel. I believe this kit probably only cycles about 13 inches of travel, which isn't much. Like I said, that's still good.
Yeah,
you know,
it's still working.
Yeah. Once you get into shock tuning, you get into spring rates, valving, and all that, this truck can definitely move. It's just you have to take the time to do those things in order for the truck to be great. But yeah, so let me see, talk about some other things. So these are McNeil 4-inch fenders. This hood is actually a one-off hood. I got it from some dude on OfferUp in Compton. $150 hood, dude. $100 for the fenders. These obviously I bought new. I swapped between different lights. I've been to the spider headlights, I've been to these. But so yeah, these are my Chinese Baja designs. I got them from my buddy JD Britton over in Ventura, and he gave them to me for $60, all three. So I still gotta wire one up, obviously, and I still gotta clean the bumper off, paint the bumper. Like I said, she's been on a back burner for so long.
And then you said you got the bumper from a guy in San Diego?
Yeah, this dude named Zach down in San Diego for $150.
And this was a custom bumper that he made, or had somebody else make it?
Yeah, somebody else made him make this bumper.
All right.
And he moved to something else. He used to have plates right here. Kind of cool because it just has these little cam lock type deals. You can just, you know, turn them 180 out and they'll freaking lock up, or turn them back the other way. It's super easy to take off the panels. But I didn't like the corner panels, so I got rid of them. And I wanted to get rid of the tabs. For this bumper, I mean, I've been happy with it. I feel like it's a decent amount, and you know, bumpers are expensive, so there's no reason for me to swap up, you know? Yeah. I'm cool with how it looks. Only other things that I want to do is, like I said, probably trim the bottom and to make it more streamlined, and probably get this piece again. I lost these pieces out in Johnson Valley back in like 2016 when I was stock. I was like, oh, you know what I mean? Just freaking, and they just came off, and I was like, damn. Somebody was telling me that those are expensive pieces to buy from Toyota. I'm like, fuck.
All right, now before we get into the interesting story that is the rear end, you want to go over the inside? You have some stuff inside, or is it bone stock?
Bone stock.
Okay, well, never mind. Guess we're getting to the interesting stuff real fast.
Yeah, the inside's bone stock.
So
nothing exciting about it.
I think the interesting part about this whole build is, look how sweet the rear setup is. This thing is. Ooh, sheesh. Are those 2.0s?
That's right, baby.
Damn. Nice.
Icon Resi 2.0, baby. Originally when I got the truck, that's the same shock that's been on the truck from the beginning.
All right, well, that's the whole video. We're done here. Kidding. He's got a whole kit laid out right here in the bed of his truck that is going to be going on. Do you have it like an estimated date of when that's going on, or is it just kind of play by ear right now?
Definitely play by ear, because as you know, I'm working on this car right here. I got to finish the motor in that, and then the Nissan has to get some love with the fuel cell, and my goal is at least by the end of the year to strip it apart. It's not the matter of it being super challenging, because I've been through that with the Titan. I've seen it done multiple times, and I mean, it's also funds too. I got to buy shocks. I have to decide whether I want to do a bed cage and do like some 16s or something like that, or if I just want to do a simple shock hoop and run like some 12s and keep it low key, you know, because that's something to think about. You know, that's gonna be my limiting factor with travel. This kit, we'll go over the kit right now.
Yeah. show everybody that you're not just gonna be running 2.0s with a long travel front end.
Yeah, so I won't be continuously, because obviously that's going to be the limiting factor with this truck is the rear. I have this Quixotic kit that Kevin QMS welded up. It's only been, I don't know how many kits were made. I don't know if many trucks are running this kit. It's technically a spring over kit that's set to pull around 19 inches of travel. Of course, with the right shock. We have hangers right here. We got shackles, U-bolts. We have relief plates, or the U-bolt plates. We have lower shock mounts. We have the perches down there. So, and then we have the leaf springs right here. And then I have a bunch of grade 8 hardware that's already shanked. Everything's the proper bolt size. These springs are from Vector Spring, which is a company, a leaf spring company down in East County. I don't think they're no longer in business. This kit would definitely be nice to have it on by the end of the year. Like I said, it's just pull the bed. I got to drill out or use a plasma cutter and cut all the stock rivets out to bang everything off. I got to relocate the perches. I got to set the pinion angle for the diff to the rear axle. I got to do pretty much probably a weekend's worth, I would assume. If I have everything, every nut and bolt, and assuming I had a whole weekend cleared, I could probably get it done in a weekend. And the shocks. Now when it comes down to shock placement and stuff like that, maybe that would be my limiting factor.
But like you said, you're still you haven't decided on if you're doing like a stealthy setup tucked under the bed or going full cage and everything. So I think that's going to be the first step for you, is sitting yourself down and having that talk with yourself.
Yeah, exactly. It's either, if I do that, it would be cheaper to do just, you know, a shock hoop in the wheel well, because then I can pay for a smaller shock. It's just a one piece of tube that's bent in a U shape, you know, so and then plant it on the frame rail. That's easy to do. Whereas a bed cage, you know, you have a couple more tubes that are involved, and I have to cut through the bed, chop up the bed and stuff like that. So it's definitely a lot to think about. It really depends on the angle with this truck. Where do I want to take this truck? What do I expect out of this truck long term? And but it'll definitely be fun, and I'm looking forward to actually working on this truck. So just to finish everything off, I still want to build a tube bumper for this. Still has a sock bumper. The rear fiberglass is from Advanced. I bought it off this dude Kalshanov on Instagram. He's big with reselling parts. Gave them to me for, I think I paid $250 for them. They were pretty beat. They had a fair amount of Bondo in them, but I had some guy locally paint the front and rear fenders and color match everything. And I installed them. I had a buddy over in Piru called Modern Crusader. He made these bed stiffeners for me after I mounted the bed sides. At that time I didn't have a welder. And pretty much, oh, and also the truck is re-geared to 488.
Oh, nice.
So
yeah, so you're lugging around 37s, so
yeah, definitely the jump from 35s to 37s it still is a decent jump. The truck is a little bit slower now, but 35s on 488s is the money ticket. If I would love to go to like 513s or something like that for these 37s, you know, or 529s actually. That'd be the better deal, because I could use the extra pickup. But you know, you're really maximizing hubs, you're really maximizing everything at this point once you put a bigger tire on there, especially running spacers and all that. You put that much more leverage on the hub. So long term, I don't know, probably swap out a rear end in here. If I wanted to do like you talked about, disc conversion, I'd probably end up swapping out the rear axle and re-gearing a different type of axle, whether it's a 9-inch or something like that. That way you get the added width, the strength of a 9-inch, and it'll also be, you can also re-gear it. That way you don't have to re-gear this 8.4, because 8.4 isn't really like the axle that you're going to be running long term if you want to really, you know, take it far and off-road. So it's a mid-size truck still, even though it's kind of full size with being a long bed, 4-door long bed. I like long beds. That's how I like it. I don't know, I feel like the short bed is kind of like a little chode. I don't know, it's too short, man. Hey. It's like a little guy. Hey. Hey. Hey, to each their own. Hey, I'm a long bed. Look at the proportions on that sucker. Bam, bam, bam. But then again, the short bed has a good wheelbase. It's not too long. I believe this, I don't remember what this one was. I think this one was around 128, 126, the wheelbase. Ideally 125, around there is pretty damn good, ideal for off-road. So I like this wheelbase. I mean, an Axis cab long bed is the perfect wheelbase, you know, especially Tacoma this year. And you can get that same setup and stick, you know, if you wanted to. So it's definitely a good setup. But yeah, thanks guys for talking about the Tacoma today. I appreciate my man Dylan for coming out talking about this truck. It's been been with me for a while. I can't wait to talk about the next thing with you.
All right, so that's gonna be a wrap on the Tacoma video, but like I told you guys in the beginning, we are here filming 3 vehicles. Yeah, 3 vehicles today. So as soon as I'm done filming this one, we're hopping right into the next one. So make sure you guys stay tuned for these other 2 videos coming out. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.